So President Biden signed a series of executive orders attempting to rein in the power of businesses that have consolidated in America, reducing competition. Let's talk about it in today's video. Hi, I'm Mike Greiner. I'm a lifelong Democratic activist who's concerned about the direction our country is taking. If you share my concerns, maybe you could like this video and subscribe to this channel, maybe even click that little bell that will notify you when I post something new. So President Biden signed a total of 72 executive orders the other day that would aimed at increasing competition in the U.S. economy. Now, some might say, well, hey, America is the home of competition and free enterprise, right? Well, unfortunately not. Over the past few decades, competition has actually decreased in the United States as industries have become more and more consolidated. This consolidation has actually had very real-world effects, reducing the dynamism in the economy, which is something that economists can measure. Dynamism relates to how much change there is and innovation and new business creation. And all of those things are down, certainly since the Great Recession of 2008. In fact, even as Republicans praise small business as being a job creator, the amount of small business startups have been at an all-time low through most of the Trump presidency. Why is that? Likely because of the fact that big businesses are able to crush them before they can even get started, even if they have a better idea or a better price. The courts, for the most part, have made it more difficult for the federal government to enforce our antitrust laws that are designed to increase competition and avoid the consolidation of industries such that certain companies are able to, what we call, extract monopolistic rents. That means because of the fact that they control so much of the market that they're able to charge whatever they want. But the bigger issue has been lack of enforcement, where especially Republican administrations have kind of sat back and let these firms consolidate and reduce competition within these industries. I love the line that President Biden used, which is that capitalism without competition isn't capitalism, it's exploitation. And that is certainly true in our economy today. I'm especially happy to see that President Biden has taken steps to address the consolidation within the labor market, which is something that's often not talked about. Part of the reason that employees are at such a disadvantage with employers within our labor market right now is because of the fact that there aren't really many choices of people for them to go to work for. And to make matters worse, many employers, including fast food restaurants, for example, have required their employees to sign non-compete agreements, which essentially imprison them at a job. It's modern slavery. And this modern slavery has been something that has contributed largely to the increase in inequality here in the United States. So while President Biden deserves a lot of credit for taking this step, we need to acknowledge the fact that this is just one step of many that need to be taken. For example, really what he's talking about here is increasing enforcement, and certainly that's important, but part of the problem is that the laws have been so watered down both by Congress and the courts that they're harder to enforce. So Congress needs to step in to strengthen our antitrust laws to address really the issues that are current in our economy. Ironically, this is one area where we might actually find bipartisan cooperation because, for example, there has been legislation that has passed dealing with the consolidation and the power of the internet giants. And ironically, both sides like it, but for different reasons. The liberals like it because they view this as anti-competitive consolidation. The conservatives like it because they hate the internet giants because they feel that they're somehow stifling their freedom of speech. But even to the extent that Republicans resist passing legislation that would actually improve our antitrust laws, this is one more thing that Democrats need to use through the process of reconciliation. Now remember, reconciliation is a process that allows the Democrats to pass legislation with just 50 votes, not needing any Republican support, and essentially getting around the filibuster the way that the Republicans did when they passed the Trump tax giveaway to the rich. So as I have done before, I'm urging Democrats to put together a really big reconciliation bill, which includes lots of things, including the parts of the infrastructure package that aren't part of the bipartisan compromise. Also the Families Act, also perhaps free college education, increases in taxes on the wealthy, perhaps also addressing the attacks on people's right to vote. And now, let's even include antitrust legislation in there. As long as certain processes are followed, which can be followed, this legislation could be as large as you want it. Just get all the Democrats on board and we can pass it. Even the moderates like Joe Manchin have said that they're in support of certain pieces of legislation like this. So let's bake it all into a large reconciliation package. So while Biden certainly deserves credit for taking steps to try to improve enforcement, this is the type of action that simply could just be undone when a new administration comes into office. So what really needs to happen is we need to pass legislation that will improve the antitrust enforcement and get rid of some of the workarounds that businesses have taken to try to consolidate their power against both consumers and employees. And this could be part of a massive reconciliation package that can pass the Senate even despite a Senate filibuster. So if you agree with me or disagree with me, I'd love to hear your comments below. If you could like this video and subscribe to this channel, I'd sure appreciate that. I'll see you in the next video. And in the meantime, let's hope for continued progress. Thank you.